Hello, folks. DANOBY2 here. Thank you for joining me once again on another audio tour. Technically, I can't call this a podcast since I'm not actually uploading it onto iTunes podcast. But you know what? It's an audio show. This is the second episode. Today's date is Sunday, February the 4th. Favorite buddy, best friend of mine, John Boy, is on the other line. John?
Danoby, how's it going? How you doing?
Good. We are talking about one of our famous, a subject that is true and dear to our hearts. We are going to talk about Star Wars, specifically the Hot Toys pre-order Emperor Palpatine from Return of the Jedi.
Well, first of all, I just wanted to say to everyone who's listening, how you all doing? You know, I'm back again. Hope you all collecting hard and loving what you're collecting. And yeah, let's just talk about Star Wars.
We do love our toys, don't we?
Yeah, overly love our toys. Yes, we do.
So, was it Friday morning? Friday morning, Hot Toys finally announced the Emperor Palpatine from Return of the Jedi. It was a nice surprise waking up on the Pacific coast here. But not coast, Pacific side of the United States, and seeing the photos on Facebook, and I drooled. I simply drooled. What do you think, John? What was your first reaction?
First of all, I think the Palpatine looks phenomenal. I think
Yes.
you can't go better with the sculpt, and you can't go better with that character finally being released after what, all these years, right?
Yes. And for the audience out there, the last time we received a officially licensed Palpatine in the 1/6 scale form was from Sideshow Collectibles. That was back in 2011.
Wow, that's yeah, okay.
Yeah. Now, when Sideshow released their version of Emperor Palpatine from Return of the Jedi in the chair, what do you think the price was for that, John? Just guess.
Oh, I would say maybe $215.
You know what? That's not a bad guess. That's actually not a bad guess. I was guessing $300, to be honest. I was guessing 2011 prices because that's around the time that the 1/6 scale phenomenon start blowing up. I guessed $299. When Sideshow released their Emperor Palpatine Return of the Jedi figure, 1/6 scale figure with their chair. Remember, the chair did not light up back in 2011. It retailed for $499.
Wow.
Yes.
That's for what you got? Wow.
Yes. And I don't think you got to see the production photos. I did a little bit of research on it. The sculpt comes nowhere near close to what Hot Toys is delivering. It is a jaw dropper. It really is. Now, I honestly think when the pre-order was dropped Friday, I think everybody who has the Sideshow Collectibles Palpatine probably ran through their eBay account and listed it for sale because the Sideshow version comes nowhere near close to the Hot Toys version. It really doesn't.
Oh no, for the Sideshow version, you need to take it out into your backyard and set fire to it.
I read the comments. And I think you mentioned it too. The price point for the Emperor Palpatine deluxe version that's being it's on pre-order right now at Sideshow Toys, $314. Now, knowing what I just told you, it sure does change. It sure does alter your opinion, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it does. It really does. It alters my opinion. I know people have budgets.
Yeah.
And people do things, with their money. And I know there's two versions, right? With the chair and without.
Yes.
And I mean, what's the difference in price on that?
The difference in price is that the deluxe Hot Toys version with the chair is $314, and then the regular standalone Palpatine is $220.
Right. So, I mean, to be honest with you, why would you buy the original? I mean, get the chair, right? Yeah. I mean, spend the money, get the chair. It looks much better.
I agree.
LED lights, Luke's lightsaber. I mean, come on, you can't beat it, right?
Absolutely. No, I 100% agree with you. I don't balk at the at Hot Toy prices anymore. I just don't. They're very competitive now. I hate to say it. You know, when I do stuff like this, when I research what things cost, you know, 5, even 10 years ago, Hot Toys has actually increased in price at a natural rate. So when I see things where Sideshow was charging fans $499 for a figure and chair back in 2011, and mind you, it sold out because it was a limited run of 500 units. It really makes you appreciate what Hot Toys is trying to accomplish. It does for me anyway.
Yes, it does. I mean, what Hot Toys is doing is really good, but see, there's a kicker.
What's
and
that?
You want to know what the kicker is?
What is it?
The kicker is they've released the Royal Guards the same time.
Of course. I mean, it's a compliment in the front with a backhanded slap at the back of your head. Of course.
because to be a complete set, you want 2 of the Red Guards, right? Am I right? Am I right?
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. You're right.
Now, the good thing about regular collectors, though, is the guards were never positioned behind them in the chair. You know, they were always guarding the elevator, you know, second floor lingerie. Am I right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So you can stand him alone in the chair and it would still look phenomenal.
Yeah.
So you really don't need the guards, but they do it to get people because they know us collectors out there are going to spend and get those guards.
I only needed 24 hours to really think about it, to really contemplate it. I don't need the guards. I don't. To me, there's no value in the Royal Guards. Even though I went on the website and they try to justify that the Royal Guards are professionally clothed with red leather underneath the red robe. I don't care. That makes nothing. No, that brings nothing to me to the table. That does nothing at all.
Well, all they did in the film was just stand there.
That was it. They were the Royal Guard, and we never got to see their full potential in the film. So is it really Hot Toys' fault?
No, I mean they coincide together.
Yeah.
And if you notice that a lot of times when they release those Red Royal Guards down the line.
Well, and they do. But here's the thing too: Hasbro Star Wars did the exact same shit too. They released the Royal Guards in single pack. It's not like you got 2 Royal Guards in the action figure form, right?
Well, the Black Series ones were hard to find. I could never find them on shelves. I found the Emperor, but I've never found the Red Royal Guards. But yes, same way as you said, you know, you have to spend extra to get them. Yeah.
I mean, for all we know, when they were when they were the Royal Guards on the film in that world, they could have been pretty much naked underneath those robes anyway. So it wouldn't have been, there's no value. It is a robe, a red robe with a helmet and a sphere. That's it.
Well, they have customized underneath garments, but they were only shown in the comics and the video games and stuff like that. So a lot of people don't know the full potential of what they had underneath.
I see. And I think I guess they were expanded more in that realm too, as far as video games and comic books. So maybe did we ever get to see them fight? See, I never read them in the comic books. I assumed maybe we got to see them in action, what their real threat was or were.
Yes.
Okay.
If you read the Crimson Empires, I think there's 3 series of Crimson Empires. It details the training of the guards and their stories. So yes, it was a completely different kind of way of looking at the figure when you've seen how they put them in the comics.
Which is why 30 years later we finally get to see a version of the Royal Guards in action with The Last Jedi. I'm assuming that was the fan service for that.
Last Jedi, yes.
Yeah. Not to go in deep into The Last Jedi, but the whole Praetorian Guards was the answer to that. Hey, you know, the Emperor, whoever is in charge, the Red Royal Guards are badasses.
Basically, yes. In this version, all they said is, you know what? Let's give them different weapons and different helmets, and that's basically what it was.
Yeah. Going back to the Emperor, the deluxe version of the Hot Toys. You know, we get Luke's lightsaber. That's something that is a nice little added treat because the sideshow version, The $4.99 version did not include Luke's lightsaber. Not to mention that the chair did not illuminate. So again, I stress to fans, this really is a fair, competitive deal. This is a really nice piece. Hot Toys, my God, I mean, you get the Emperor's chair, you get a really great sculpted figure. I was looking at the production photos earlier today. The amount of detail in the robe, the stitching. This is I've been wanting the Emperor. A lot of folks have been wanting the Emperor for a very, very long time, and this is a nice treat. The only thing I can say that's really bad about it is I wish they would have included a second head.
Yeah, I can see a second head. One of him grinning, when he was shooting the lightning bolts, because if I'm not mistaken, you get the lightning bolts as well, the lightning bolt hands. Yeah, another head, and you know what's another thing that would really look cool that would set it off?
What's that?
The back window. That cool looking black back window where they were looking out at.
The Emperor, the throne room display with the back window. Yeah, on the top tower.
That would be great. And
That'd
a lot of customizers will probably do that. And that would look really awesome.
I'm sure that there's people on eBay that will sell you a nice 12 by 18 print that you can put inside your DTOF if you wanted to, and you can have that customized background. Me personally, if Hot Toys actually sold the actual diorama, I'd be all over it. Such a missed opportunity from Hot Toys. I really, really wish Hot Toys would kind of focus on dioramas. I think that's such a missed opportunity for them.
Yeah, but bases and background dioramas, that should be their futurist way to go with things. I mean, I'm glad they actually included the chair in this one and gave us it lighting up.
Yeah.
But I think, in time, I think dioramas is the way to go to enhance the figures.
Yeah. Sets, an actual miniature set. You have a great articulated, great looking figure. Why not complete it with an actual set?
Exactly. And my thoughts, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They've have they ever done a set? No. Well, they've done the Batman Armory. They've done they're great at vehicles. I don't know. Maybe they feel they just don't. Well, you see, the market is the company is based out of Hong Kong, so I know for collectors in Hong Kong, space is such an expensive commodity. Space itself, so it's easier to collect figures and kind of cram them in DTOFs like a lot of U.S. collectors do. To really have the space to invest in a DTOF would probably be really, really difficult, to say the least.
Yeah, it could. And what we have to talk about, too, is the property itself. I mean, to be honest with you, and this is my opinion, anyone who's listening, don't take offense, but I think Star Wars is a tired property. And I think there's only two things you can do with a tired property. You could either wake them up or you can put them to bed. And I think Star Wars needs a 3-year hiatus, don't you?
I do. I don't think the classic trilogy falls into the whole not political, but the whole drama, fanboy scandal that seems to be going on, where everybody's getting bent out of shape over the whole Force Awakens, Last Jedi. So when you're asking for a break with the current way the films are going, but for some odd, weird reason, there is still a subgenre of fanboys that still appreciate collecting things from the classic trilogy. Do you agree?
Oh, and if anything, this pushes people back into the classic trilogy, because with them screwing up with Last Jedi and Force Awakens, more people want that nostalgia, and I think that's why your Hot Toys are selling, and that's why they're gearing them to that classic trilogy.
No, I agree. I purposely am very conservative when it comes to buying anything Star Wars, but when it comes to the classic trilogy and my personal favorite characters, I tend to pull the trigger. And I actually pre-ordered the Emperor Palpatine throne room today, so it'll be out in a year, and I really am excited. I really do look forward to getting this specific piece.
Do you notice another thing? I just wanted to say, in the day, a lot of people, what was your best movie? Empire Strikes Back. Yeah. But do you notice a lot of people now, and maybe it's just a time switch, a lot of people now are going to Return of the Jedi?
It goes up and down. It fluctuates. Like a couple years ago, everybody was going gaga over the original Star Wars film, but that's fine. It seems to bounce back and forth from one classic trilogy film to the other. I know when they released Boba Fett, what the first Empire Strikes Back version, everybody was going crazy over that. It honestly it depends, and that's fine. Right now, Return of the Jedi is going through a nice little resurgence, so to me that's normal. I particularly enjoy that the fans are loving more of the classic trilogy versus steering away from the new films. Like The Last Jedi, nothing from it appeals to me in the 1/6 form at all.
Well, you know what it is? There's no style in it. I mean,
No.
the other movies had style. They had costuming. They had something different that this series doesn't. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. Yeah, I don't want a Finn 1/6 scale figure. I don't. Maybe Poe Dameron. I don't know. He's unique. Something about him. He stands out. But even then, I don't know if I'd want to pull the trigger. I don't care for an old man Luke that milks a yak on an island. That does nothing for me.
The old farmer Luke? No, you don't want the old farmer Luke.
No, I don't need him. Coming with the walrus with the 6 tits. That does on an island with.
You're right about that. That was a worse way Ray Johnson could have done that. Yeah, I think where they went with Luke is really bad, but that's a different story, right?
Yeah. That's a completely different story. I don't care for Rey, although not to go too deep into The Last Jedi, there's a lot of fan theories as to Kylo Ren's and Rey's love interaction. I would like to see them take a dark side together.
Like a dark vacation,
like
a dark honeymoon, huh?
Like a dark more like 50 Shades of Grey, Kylo Ren style.
There you go. 50 Shades of Snoke.
50 right? Shades of, there you go. As he walks in the next film on spider legs. Christ, here we go.
so here's the rundown, right? Yeah. They're releasing, what is it? Vader and Tarkin.
Vader and Tarkin from The New Hope.
You got the Hoth Leia.
Hoth Leia, which looks very nice.
You have the Anakin Skywalker.
Anakin is on pre-order status. Yep.
You have good old Chief Palpatine.
Palpatine. Yep.
The Royal Guards.
The Royal Guards. Yep.
Aren't they releasing another Boba Fett?
Yes. There's 2 versions of Boba Fett. There's a Empire Strikes Back version, and then there's the Return of the Jedi version. And there is minute changes in the costume that warrant another Boba Fett figure, which is beyond belief. There's even an animated version of Boba Fett. I don't see it. To me, Boba Fett never did it. I don't know how you saw him personally. To me as a character, he just never did it.
Well, you know what it was? It was the look, and a lot of people love the Fett. I mean, a lot of people love the Fett, and that's the thing. That's what it goes on. That's the popularity of the character.
You know what it is? He was watered down in Attack of the Clones. That's what it is. He's not. The whole mysterious aura of him was better kept in the classic trilogy, and then when Lucas expanded on it in Attack of the Clones, was it 10, 15? Jesus, 2002, going 15 years later. It's not that a whole story arc doesn't seem to be aging very well.
No, the prequels actually killed it. The prequel, they really watered him down, and they gave you that aura of not being what he used to be, right?
Yeah. I did pre-order the Luke Return of the Jedi. I think it's probably by far one of the best sculpted figures that Hot Toys has thrown in pre-order. So I am really looking forward to that. I know Sideshow, out of spite, released their own version.
That's the one in the multiple outfits, right?
In the multiple outfits, but with the horrendous facial sculpt. I couldn't believe that. It's like Sideshow purposely seeks out the lowest bidder, as far as the sculptors. I mean, the best sculptors cost money, and it seems like they don't really care about the details, but yet have the audacity to charge the exact same amount as Hot Toys. There's a reason why Hot Toys can get away with charging with what they charge, because they've earned that right. And the only other company that, in my personal opinion, that comes close to that level of integrity and quality is Blitzway. You know, it really is.
Yeah, Blitzway really knocked it out of the park with the Ghostbusters.
But if a lot of fans who are listening right now who don't know this, Blitzway hires a lot of the sculptors from the Hot Toys pool. So K.A. Kim or A.K. Kim, she's one of the most sought out sculptors in Hong Kong, and she's used heavily by Hot Toys, and she was hired to commission the Ghostbusters figure. So a lot of folks don't know that. You know, the reason why Blitzway can get away with doing what they're doing is because they're hiring a lot of the artists from the Hot Toys library. The folks who work for Hot Toys, they get hired and they get commissioned too. Sideshow doesn't do that.
Well, no, with this one, it seems like Sideshow stole it from Hasbro.
Pretty much from the Hasbro book of how to sell an action figure to a collector is pretty much what it is.
Yeah, basically, I mean, it does look horrendous, and you know, when you compare, and people out there listening, you know, when you compare Hot Toys, Luke to Sideshow, I mean, there's no comparison. You know, put your money to the Hot Toys.
Pretty much. And if you don't have access to purchase from Sideshow Collectibles, go on eBay. You know, fight it out. You know, just
you know, and it'll look like a good diorama when you have the Emperor, Luke, and Vader. I mean, you have the throne room scene at the end. Am I right?
Yes. It's and then the Vader that I ended up going with is the Empire Strikes Back Vader, which I know there's minor changes between the Empire Strikes Back Vader and the Return of the Jedi. I'm not going to be anal about it. I will have the Empire Strikes Back Vader, Palpatine, and Luke displayed together. That'll be my own version of the diorama as far as recreating the scene from the tower.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? One thing is, let me just say right now to the people listening, you know, the man on the other side of this podcast, I've been in Force Friday line since the beginning.
Yes.
And I've went to the movies, and it's good to see you back in the Star Wars again.
Yeah. Very conservatively, you know, I'm tiptoeing. You know, I tiptoe through Star Wars right now.
But it's good to see you excited one more time for the Star Wars property.
And it's a shame that I'm excited only for the classic trilogy.
Well, no,
yes.
classic trilogy, it's our age bracket. I mean, it's our best. Am I right?
It is. I just don't have that same excitement and level of enthusiasm for the new stuff. That's what sucks.
Well, you know, new stuff for new generation. Am I right?
Yeah. And I know a lot of fans, you know, will leave comments like, you should do more Star Wars. I am seen in the community as an Iron Man worshiper. I do love my Iron Man collection. I really do. But I do enjoy other properties. I love Back to the Future. Right now I'm going through a DC kick. You know that. I've pre-ordered all the Justice League figures. I'm very seldom, you know, one thing I want to preach out to the folks listening is, you know, really collect things that you have an emotional connection to. Really collect the things that make you happy. Don't just go out and build a set because you're pressured or you're bullied into it. And I'll give you a perfect example. When Captain America's Civil War came out, everybody felt that they needed to build that whole airport scene. I was one of them, and then I had to kind of stop and pause and think about it. Do I really want to get Black Panther from the airport fight scene? I know there's a film coming down the road, The Vision. You know, do I really want all that? And again, everybody went gaga over the Black Panther from Civil War. And again, with the new film coming out, that excitement seems to be jumping back up again for the next, for the Black Panther. My long story short, you know, really collect the things that you have an emotional connection to. Anybody who's been following me, they know I like certain things. There's a reason why when you watch one of my Fison videos, why C-3PO and R2-D2 always make a cameo, or why you see Marty McFly show up and when Nick Fury holds a press conference to announce the next fight scene, because I try to put the characters in that audience that I have an emotional connection to. Even Electro, everybody hated Electro, the character of Electro from Amazing Spider-Man 2. I've grown to like the character now. I think he's great. It's not what
and just throwing in there, you know, your voice actors are phenomenal. You know, everyone listening, you got to check out the Poison Ivy one. This man did a great job with it, and you got to check it out. So that's I just wanted to add that because it was really cool. But go ahead.
No, thank you for the shout out on that. I had so much fun doing the Poison Ivy video. It's a lot of work. It took about a week and a half of, you know, from when the poll was released to making the video. But I'm very fortunate that I was able to reach out to Sean Hanley, who does the voice of Marty McFly. Isn't he friggin' phenomenal? I got goosebumps.
I thought it was a movie. I thought it was a soundbite from the movie.
That's what everybody. I go, this actually came. Now here's a funny story. I don't know if Sean will listen to this, but I found him by searching YouTube. I go. I wonder if there's somebody out there who would like to contribute the voice of Marty, who does impressions, and it turns out that Sean loves to cosplay as Marty McFly. Not only can he do Michael J. Fox, but he cosplays as Marty from Back to the Future Part 2. And he does, so he gets in he does the whole shebang. I mean, this guy can do a charity event to a hospital, and I'm like, wow, he is the real genuine deal. But he goes, yeah, Danoby, I want to do it. I want to do Marty. I love doing Marty. He's like, oh, okay. And I sent him the script, John. I sent him the script, and I got the work back, and I'm listening to the car. I'm driving home from picking the kids up, and I'm listening to his work, and I had to quickly shoot him a message. I go, oh my God, dude, that was awesome.
Yeah, if you're listening out there, brother, if you're watching this, yeah, you did a top-notch job. I couldn't decipher between you or Michael J. Fox. It was that good.
It was
so. I mean, it was
just
good. Phenomenal.
And here's the thing, though, that was only a small amount of dialogue. He's actually gonna return again for my Doc Brown video. See, I have to do my unboxing for Doc Brown, which I'll get that filmed and prepped up for Monday, maybe a possible Tuesday release. But I have Hot Toys Doc Brown video figure. I just got it, and I'm gonna do an unboxing. So Doc Brown will talk to Marty, and Sean will be voicing that. So that's a little tidbit there. That's a little secret. I can't give you any more.
Yeah, just enough behind the scenes, just to wet your whistle, right?
Just to wet your whistle. That is it. I will say that Sean will return in that video, and I'm excited to work on that.
Well, I'll tell you what, too. That Poison Ivy was really sexy too. So whoever out there, you did the voice, you know who you are. That was very sexy.
That was great. That was a lot of fun. So I hope you guys really enjoyed the Poison Ivy video. I left a little hint onto the next Feisen video, and a couple people in the comments did figure out which one is the next. So good for them who was able to kind of pick up on the hints on the next Feisen video, which fingers crossed should be out in another month or so. So there was something I wanted to tell. Oh, something that speaking of Feisen and talking action figures, which I love to make them talk. You figured out yesterday that I was going to use the Emperor Palpatine in the Feisen skits, and I just about died laughing.
Yes, great minds think alike.
Yes. It is no big secret that I like to make the figures talk, and I love the Emperor Palpatine. And Emperor Palpatine, it would be a phenomenal treat to write gags and lines for him, because there's no way anybody could ever take him seriously, and that's one of the reasons he's such a recurring character on Robot Chicken with Seth Green and Seth MacFarlane. He constantly shows up there because he's such a great character to write for. So I want that opportunity. The fact, I have lines going through my head where the Emperor is now holding the press conference, and I mean, if someone talks out of line, I mean, you could just imagine what he'll do to them.
Yeah, you figure there's a lot that you can do. What's a shame is just it's a year away. Am I right?
It is a year away. Yeah. As much as I love the guy that does the voice of Nick Fury, he's going to start moving on, and it's getting harder and harder to secure work from him. So eventually, Nick Fury has to retire. He's going to say, "Mother, beep, I'm done with this." So he's gonna retire. He's gonna retire. Straight poop, Chris. He's my Captain America, so if he's listening, big shout out to Chris. He loves doing the voice. Another Sean Hevek does some of the music that I use. He composed the Wonder Woman riff, which I was able to use in my Wonder Woman fight scene video. See, I can't use actual music from the soundtrack, or else I'll get flagged. It'll get copyrighted flagged because it's coded.
Right.
So Sean, because he's a composer, he wrote the little short 1 minute riff to Wonder Woman, and I was able to use it. So people thought I had ripped the songs. Like, no, that was written. He just emulated it. He just copied it. So big shout out to Sean.
You put a lot of passion and love in your videos, and it shows.
I do. I really, really, really do. It's a lot of fun. A lot of people out there do, John. A lot of YouTubers out there put a lot of passion into their videos, and that's what it's all about. You want folks to support you, to watch your channel. You gotta go that extra step. I don't upload videos very frequently, but when I do, I really try to put out my best work. I really want to earn that viewership. So.
Yeah, I agree with you, and especially for you listeners out there in the Star Wars universe. A lot of people love Star Wars, and there's two people that I think knock it out of the park. I think Victoria's Cantina is very good. She has a lot of passion and love for what she does. Between that and Jurassic Park, Jurassic Park and dinosaurs, you have to have a niche for, and she does. And Chris from the Collector's Hut. Chris from the Collector's Hut, right?
Chris is cool. Chris from the Collector's Hut, he is like the go-to Star Wars guy as far as action figures.
I'm going to tell you something. That man's crazy.
He
loves everything Star Wars. And It's good to see. It's good to see Victoria and Chris and people like that on YouTube show love like you do. And, they give you memories of the figures, but you also make new memories from them. Am I right?
Yes. I like Victoria. I like Victoria's Cantina. She's very passionate about her work. It's also nice to see women collectors. Since it's such a male dominated field, especially on YouTube, it's a fresher breath air to get a woman's perspective on collecting, especially action figures. It's always nice. So
yeah, because more women should collect. More women should collect action figures. It's just one of those things that it's just to hear another perspective is also really good, because a lot of times, especially for me, if I go out and see something, I'll wait for the reviews for people. Whether it be Marvel Legends or DC Multiverse or Star Wars for that matter. And a lot of times, a lot of these reviewers, they knock on target. And that's one thing. And like I said, people like that, they do. And that's what's good to listen to.
Yeah. I like Chris. He puts a lot of energy and a spunk into when he does his reviews and unboxing. Hopefully one day I'll run into him on one of these cons. He does a celebration. He is religiously fanatic with the Star Wars celebrations. So, and I think it's back in Orlando or next year, so this year. They usually skip a year, don't they? I think so. Wasn't last year Orlando? I think last year was Orlando, so it'll be up next year then. It's usually every couple of years. They don't do it annually. They do it every biannually or something like that. So, yeah. It's really weird because you have, the people who now are not going with Star Wars, that are going back to the classics. And then you have a lot of these companies that are pumping the classics. And I think that's where people should be, in the classics. Don't you? No, I agree. I 100% agree. I think let's jump on the Hasbro Star Wars little train track here for a second.
Oh, okay.
I know. I won't beat the dead horse too much.
More like the dead tauntaun.
Yeah.
When we're done, you could just stick me in it.
Oh, Hasbro, even on the outside, you still smell.
But go ahead. Go say what you
um,
said.
um, I think the Black Series is a decade too late. I know people out there love it. I know fans out there who are passionate. I know Christmas collectors that loves the Black Series. I think it missed its opportunity with me because for a long time before I got into Hot Toys, I religiously collected action figures, and I still do. I still collect action figures, but I'm very conservative about it now. I don't devote a lot of shelf space to action figures, but I think the Star Wars Black Series is just 10 years too late. They missed its opportunity. I feel that they added an extra pipe down into the well to speed up the pumping process versus the regular action figure line, and they've been busted several times by taking shortcuts. And it's such a shame because the Black Series, it seems like they put a lot of work and effort into it, but I think it's just a little bit too late. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the Black Series. I mean, I was when the first wave came out, the 6 inch we're talking about.
Yeah.
I was iffy on it, and then I said, okay, I'll get it. The sculpts were incredible, and then as the line progressed, it got to be crap. There's a couple things now. They're doing the real scan technology or whatever that is, the digital print technology.
I want you to pause right there. Pause right there for a second. When you say the line got crap, did you say it got like crap, meaning like the line got saturated with characters you don't want, or just the quality?
Well, actually, both. I mean, it was the quality of the figures because the first ones that they did, the Darth Maul, the Luke and X-wing, the what was it, the Sand Trooper, were phenomenal.
Okay.
And the whole tagline, if you remember, I don't know if you remember, on the backs of the magazines were, have them come from reel to reel, from coming from the film on, and a lot of them did look good, and then they just got lazy with it. Other than being lazy with it, they just kept giving you characters that you're like, huh? Like, do I really want a Greedo in like Wave 3?
Yeah.
I want someone different. And then when you make Jedis, I don't care who you are. And if Hasbro's listening, or if anyone with Hasbro's that's listening, when you make a Jedi, give them the damn robes. I mean, I love Qui-Gon Jinn, and for me to buy a Star Wars Hasbro Black Qui-Gon Jinn without the robes, I mean, come on.
Oh, see, I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that they were making the Jedis without the robe. I thought they all came with robes.
No, every Jedi they made did. The only one that came with a robe was Ben Kenobi.
Oh.
I mean, you had Anakin from Revenge of the Sith and Obi-Wan. None of them came with their robes. You had Qui-Gon Jinn, didn't come with their robes. I mean, come on. I mean, it's how hard is it?
Yeah. Wow, I honestly thought they came with like a cloth robe. I didn't know that.
No, the only cloth robes you have now are the Obi-Wan Kenobi. Okay. The old Ben Obi-Wan Kenobi from A New Hope.
Okay. I got the first wave of black when they first came out, and that was the year that I had started my purge. I had purged. I was done with Star Wars. And again, I'm officially done with Star Wars Hasbro action figures. I try not to ever collect them because I think they're just irrelevant. I really do. And I remember that the R2-D2 from the Black Series was phenomenal. I actually liked it. I even liked that Darth Maul. But you're right. They started getting lazy as to which characters were going to make the next wave. And they weren't very exciting. And it wasn't very appealing and so forth.
And the assortments aren't there. I mean, you take Hasbro. Now, Hasbro owns Marvel Legends as well. And you have Marvel Legend waves coming out like it's friggin' new donuts at Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
I mean, they're coming out. I mean, God, in the past week, there's 3 waves that are supposed to be out?
3 pre-order waves. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous on the market.
So when you get into the Black Series, you might find 4 at a time, and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, and you're like, okay, I'm supposed to be excited because of what? I mean, if you notice, what is the trend now with Star Wars? People are not getting them. They're going to Figure Arts or Tamashii Nations or something like that. Am I right?
Yeah, no, you're right. It's the Asian companies that are blowing it out of the water. It's SH Figure Arts, it's Tamashii Nations. yeah, they cost a little bit more, but unfortunately, as a collector, we live in a day and age where you get what you pay for. I mean, some collectors may not care, others do. Others, it's see the thing is it's hard to collect a $20 Black Series Luke Skywalker for $20 when you see the Tamashii Nations, not Tamashii, when you see the HH figures, with their realistic sculpt of Luke Skywalker with all this articulation and lightsabers and all this stuff that retails for $60. It makes Hasbro feel and look like the poor cousin, and it's not right, because that if Hasbro just raised the notch just one or two levels up, they could be very competitive, and they can do that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they can. I mean, what's $5 more?
But they don't have
I mean, for people, it is a lot. I'm sorry, but what I'm saying is a collector standpoint. But you have to look at it too. You have an SH Figure Arts figure that's $60 or $60, $70, whatever it is. If you look at it logically, you can buy 3 Black Series figures for that.
No, that's true.
And a lot of people, you love what you love. And some people, when it comes to figures, you like articulation, you like sculpt, you like paintwork. And whatever you love out there, that determines what you want. Am I right?
That's true.
Because every collector has a scale on a certain figure. So when they see a figure, they're saying in their mind, okay, how's the articulation? Okay, how's the sculpt? How's the accessories? And that's what determines what you want. Am I right?
Yep. That's it. It's what you're comfortable with spending. It's what makes you happy. What you're comfortable as far as building the collection. Absolutely, just collect within your means. Collect within your means, and make sure it's something that makes you happy. It really is. I mean, that's ultimately what it is. And I understand. I've seen it. I've read it. About the peer pressure, where there's fans out there who are comfortable just doing the $20 action figures. And they see other collectors on social media or bulletin boards, and they see the SH Figures version, and it's kind of like, well, this doesn't seem fun anymore, and you really shouldn't see it like that. You really shouldn't see it. You really should see it as something that really makes you happy. You can't. No one can collect everything in a collection, so just honestly collect the things that make you happy. At one point, Star Wars did make me happy, collecting Star Wars action figures, but it got so diluted, John. You know the story. It got so diluted. And,
well, yeah. And at the time, you're always going to collect when there's something on film. You're always going to be supercharged to collect. Am I right?
You're right.
I mean, you're going to get any figure you want because Attack of the Clones are coming out. I mean, I know that hits a hard spot memory because I know we went out and bought like $200, $300 worth of stuff for Attack of the Clones, and now they're not worth nothing.
That was a lot of money, yeah.
But you do, and it's just to that point where, do you or don't you? I mean, a lot of people today, they have families. And they have their own kids, and they like to collect. And some people can't afford certain things. Certain people can't do hot toys. Certain people can't do figure arts. And then you have these $20 figures out there to make you feel good. Am I right?
True.
Yeah, and that's what happens. People collect. And my advice is if you're collecting, don't collect a lot, because you get into that point where you're collecting so much that it just bogs you down. So, collect a character you love,
Yeah.
And just go with what you want to get. I mean, and with Star Wars, there's so many companies.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many companies producing figures. You got Hasbro, you got the Disney Store metals, the metal exclusives, you got Tamashii Nations, you have you have Hot Toys, now you have Sideshow. And, it's just, what do you pick, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because there's always going to be something better down the road. That's the problem.
Yes.
Yeah, and if there's one IP, intellectual property, that has been milked to death and then some, it has to be Star Wars. By means, they are the king, and they reign.
Well, what's funny though is for a time it wasn't. because I'm old. You're old.
Yeah.
I hate to say it.
Yeah, we're old. No.
We're old, but if you remember from 1984 through what 90, I can tell you
95.
what 98. There was nothing, right?
No, 95. Remember when they
95.
95.
95. There was nothing. All
Yeah.
you had were novels that really had Star Wars. And you know what? When those new figures came out, it gave you crave to collect.
Oh my god.
But since then, it hasn't stopped.
Dude, I'm going to tell you something. The best, to me, the second Renaissance with the special editions in the late 90s with all the new action figures of Star Wars and the films being released in theaters, that was wonderful. That was a wonderful time.
Well, yeah, I mean, going back into it, because you always wanted to see what they would do different with these figures. More articulation, more accessories, and so on and so forth. So that's what happened when you got through, you kept going, but then you got to a tiring point.
Yeah.
Because you were always getting that same Luke. You were always getting that same Han. How many Hans and Hoth can we have?
Yeah.
Am I right?
How many Farm Boy variant? Like, hey, we improved it. Now Farm Boy Luke has a hat. Or, yeah, no, and that's what it is. It got so diluted that it would never end.
But it has to do with age, though, because I mean we've been collecting for a while, so people of our age should be to that point where they're like, you know what, we are tired. But people who are in their 30s or 20s are a different story.
Yeah.
They will get tired eventually, especially when they start releasing these stupid solo movies and all these cash cow movies that Disney seems to throw out there.
Oh man, the Solo film.
Yes. Trailer on Monday, by the way. Supposedly what they're saying.
How Solo met Chewie. How Solo met, Lando. How he won the Falcon in a card game. We get to relive all that.
But if they throw Boba Fett in there and his armor's different, it'll sell.
Yes. Yes, it will.
That'll be your hot toy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it sure will.
You know what would be cool, though, is if they did make Boba Fett with a removable helmet and underneath it was Ron Howard. Opie Fett. No, I'm just...
God, as long as he doesn't throw Han Solo into a pool full of cocoons, I think we'll be fine, right?
Ooh, don't even go there.
What has Ron Howard done? I mean, I know he's a respected director. What, Backdraft 91? What's he?
Didn't he do Apollo 13?
Oh yeah, but that was what, 96. Mm-hmm. What's he done for the millennials recently?
Oh, the Da Vinci Codes, right?
Oh yeah, the Da Vinci.
The 3 Da Vinci Codes. The Da Vinci Codes. Yeah.
Da Vinci Codes with Tom Hanks. He does love working with Tom Hanks, doesn't he? That's his boy.
Well, Tom Hanks is a good actor.
Tom Hanks is a great actor.
You have to put it there.
I'll leave Tom. Yeah, I'll leave Tom. That's right. Poor Ron Howard. Ugh. Yeah. Anyway, it has come to that time. Thanks for listening, folks. This was fun talking about Star Wars, talking about Emperor Palpatine. We always tend to get derailed, but this was fun. Emperor Palpatine Hot Toys with the chair. That's going to be something really cool to look forward to. DANOBY2 out. Any last thoughts, John? For you?
Yeah, I would just like to say just a little thing. Like I said, people listening, subscribe to DANOBY2. He does great work. His videos are top notch, as you notice with everything. And Victoria's Cantina and Chris from the Collector's Hut, give them love, and just keep collecting hard. And I'll see you next time.
Thank you, folks. Thanks for listening. All right, bye.